I am Kamau Kujichagulia, and this is On the Case with Kamau Kujichagulia, where each week we bring a tremendous person on from our community, whether it be in Trenton or New Jersey or nationally or internationally. And this week we have Councilwoman Yazminelly Gonzalez, who's going to be our guest tonight. We are actually taping this live for showing on Thursday, so you can't interact with us right now. But before we get started, my son, Michael, is taking his son, Messiah, back to LA today. Matter of fact, they left, I guess, Sunday, but they got hung up in all that bad weather down in Atlanta, so they kicked off their flight. So hopefully, I just got word from him that he made it to LA today. So he should be back sometime this week. So we'll see him next week on the show. I'm looking at the sidewalks at where's the damn sidewalks at? I'm looking at the sidewalks here on Parkside Avenue, and I don't know, like I said last week, I don't know whether it's the county doing the job or the city doing the job or the state. But anyway, they've come further down to getting close to that area. And hopefully, just hopefully, they will do something with this ridiculousness that has been in our city for so daggone long. So we're going to keep a watch on that. Niger, whatever. Another African country has had a coup, and they kicked out I guess the democratically elected president, and they replaced him with someone else who is the president they had was very Western leaning, but this one is more concerned about the people of Niger, whatever. So hopefully, we have Mali, which has had a coup recently. We have Burkina Faso, which has had a coup recently. Now we have Niger, which has a coup, and hopefully these new governments will stop playing around with the Western powers such as the EU and the United States, and will become more friendly towards their own people instead of to the states, because like France has been raping these countries for centuries now. It's just ridiculous that like the president of Burkina Faso says, we have all these tremendous resources, and we're a rich country. We have rich in resources, we're rich in people, but we're one of the poorest countries in the world, and it just doesn't make any sense, because France has just been taking so much of their money instead of keeping that money in these countries so that they can do things for the people of the country. So hopefully, and this leads even further to an awakening of the entire African continent. If these young people are serious about what they're doing, then hopefully, it will change the balance of power and economics in these parts of Africa, and the other parts of Africa will hopefully come along with it. Because you talk about Africa, which is a huge continent, which is the most resource-filled continent in the world, and for it to be poor and stay poor for so many years this isn't good, So hopefully, if we can get this, they also have about 1.4 billion people, And they say it's projected that by 2030, 2040, Africa will have the largest population in the world. Okay, they'll bypass China, they'll bypass India. So if they can just join together as one large country, as opposed to a continent with many smaller countries, that would be out there. That would do my heart so good. That would really do my heart good. Okay, but instead of me going on and on and on about that, I want to get to our councilwoman, Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez, how are you?
I am doing well this evening, and yourself?
I am just marvelous, just marvelous. Thank you for being on our show.
Well, I was going to say thank you for having me on the show. I know our schedules have been hectic, and we finally got a time that worked for both of us. So thank you so much.
You are most welcome, most welcome. And it's good. It's good to have you here to share. I want to know. Now you came on earlier when you were running for office, and
I did.
You didn't come on? Yes, you did. You didn't.
You everyone mixes me and Jossie up, so maybe Jossie came on.
Oh, it wasn't me. Well, why not? Darn it!
Because it was a crazy thing. I think I did get an invite towards the end, and then it was like the last week of campaigning, and the schedule was just ridiculously crazy. We were from sun up to sundown, knocking on doors to the very last minute.
And it turned out well.
It did. Yeah. It was a lot of hard work. It paid off.
Okay. Now you're on city council.
Yes, sir.
Well, hold on. Since you weren't on here before, why don't you tell people a little bit about you and your how you got to where you are right now.
Yeah, so I am Yazminelly Gonzalez, and I am an educator here in the city of Trenton. I'm from Trenton, grew up here, live here, work here. I've been teaching here for 20 years. Well, this is going into my 21st year, actually. And I've always taught students with disabilities, taught at Kilmer School, PJ Hill, and now I'm currently at 9th grade academy. I was a coach for the cheerleading team at Trenton High for 12 years. And I recently just resigned from that because of me stepping out and running for office. So, the schedule, I still work with the girls every day. I'm a volunteer coach now, but I'm not the actual JV coach anymore. So community servant, I have a nonprofit, Trenton United Family Foundation, where we service the community and try to bring resources and just connect people to resources that would enhance their future. We give back to the kids. This is our second summer having a very low price summer program for our students. And we have this summer, we have about 42 kids that are in our program. So just someone that always gives back. Like my father was very involved in the city of Trenton. And when he passed, I kind of started to fill his shoes and do a lot more community service and just outreach. I'm a member of Change Church, where I actually conduct a lot of the outreach there. Also, for our members at the church, I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, one of our co-chairs for our social action committee. Just someone that's always been in the streets. I'm a grassroots person and love to be around people. I love to help people. And that's the basis of it, of who I am.
So what led you to politics?
Well, I think it was just being starting to do so much in the community and being around so many of the people and the families and just seeing the things that were going on in the city that weren't, it seems like we were some of the previous council members. It just seems like it was a lot of personal things going on and not enough of putting the people first and actually trying to do what is best for our city to move the city forward. And so some of those things just became frustrating. And then when you hear people talking, I actually thought wasn't going to run. I was like, I would never do it. People are like, oh, you should do it. And then the last election, I thought about it. I actually had my name going and I was like, okay, I may do it. But then it wasn't the right time. I just didn't feel like it was something I really wanted to do at that moment. And then, like I said, just continuing to do certain things, being around people, being in different organizations and helping out. you just see the need of the people. You see people who may have power and they have that power for the wrong reasons. And so I just felt like I would be, a calm person that would actually look at the things, make some informed decisions that would better our community, better our people, better the city. And we have a lot of work to do. I mean, we're a new council, but we're working together, but we still have a long road ahead of us to see some changes here in the city of Trenton.
Okay. Now, I know that while the election was going on, people questioned your residency. What was that about?
So clearly, I mean, it's no secret that I own property outside of Trenton. I mean, it's public knowledge. So I knew that would come up. I just didn't think that they would really take it to a level where they take it to, and still do, because I'm still being harassed about it. I still have people coming to my home or riding past or acting like they're knocking on my door for something else. And I know that's not what it is. I understand what it would look like, because I have property outside of Trenton, but I've grew up here. I've lived here all my life. I've owned my home here in Trenton for 15 years before I sold it. And I only sold it because at that time, when my father passed, my mother moved in with me. And then when she moved in with me, it became like the family house. So then my brother, when he retired from the military, he came, and then he has 2 children. So like the house was like really tight. And then it was broken into about 3 times. And after the 3rd time, my mother wasn't, she didn't feel comfortable. So I ended up selling it and buying something for her. My brother actually reside there. But, I've always been in a relationship, but not always. I've been in a relationship with someone for about 12 years. So he and I have been back and forth. He's lived with me. I've lived with him. And then we finally just said, why not? Let's just come together. And that's what we did. So I've been one of his properties, and he owns several properties also, but this is where we live at. And I guess people just wanted to use something to attack me with. I don't know. They didn't have anything else to say about me.
Okay, something to slow you down, huh?
They tried. Like I said, they still come past here, and now I just wave.
That's good.
Hey.
That's good.
But it is what it is. I guess that comes with the part of being in the public, so I wasn't expecting that, because I'm not that type of person. And one thing I am not is a liar. So I try to make sure everyone knew, like, listen, I've submitted everything that needed to be submitted to show my utility bill, my everything, my credit card, my bank statement, my W-2s, my tax returns, everything that showed where I had been living at for almost a year and a half prior to the election. And I guess that wasn't enough for people, but.
Well, I guess it was enough for enough people. since you're there.
But I'm just saying, even after the fact, like, people still, I'm pretty sure people heard that they tried to take me to court and try to take me out of my seat after I was elected, still saying I didn't live here. And then the judge had the rule, and once he looked at all the evidence, it was like, no, she's clearly a resident. She will remain in her seat. So it's just those type of things. And I'm, like I said, I'm not used to that. I wasn't, so it took a lot, but I, in the words of Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high.
I don't know. It sounds like Trump, man.
Trying to. Oh no, that was Trump that was doing the act. Yes, but I'm saying as far as my character, right?
Right. They're trying to reverse the election.
Yeah, they definitely try to do a whole lot, but then I'm doing God's work. That's how I believe. I believe I'm doing God's work. That's the reason why I stepped out, to make some change for our people and put the people first.
Okay, sounds good. Now on the beginning of the show, I was talking about the sidewalks over there by Calwater Park. Do you know who's doing that work?
If I'm not mistaken, if you're talking about right under the bridge?
Yes.
I almost want to say that was the county and the city combined, but I'm definitely not sure. I don't want to just say definitely who that is, but I want to say I think it's the county that's doing the work there. But I'm going to look into it, because I saw when you posted the picture, and I know it's like right under the bridge, because now they just closed the road today, going from my side, going down the bridge towards West 8.
Right. All right.
But we are trying to do some things. Like we really are trying to improve the way our city looks, slowly but surely.
Okay. Now, All right, let's move on to city council. You know,
Yes.
our last city council was a very divisive place. How are y'all getting along?
We get along well. I think everyone's very respectful of one another. Do we always agree? No. I mean, we're all human. We all have different personalities. We all bring something different to the table. But for what I've experienced so far, we have always been respectful with one another. Everyone is trying to do what is best for the city. Even when we don't agree with one another, we respectfully say, this is why I don't want to support this, or this is why I don't agree with this. And, we discuss it respectfully and then we move past it. But nothing, hopefully, God willing, that we can remain the way we are and all be cordial and make sure that we put the business of the city first.
Now, have you had any initiatives that you've proposed?
So not me personally on my own, no, but I've been collaborating with others. I know Jossie and I were just talking about, well, it was actually her idea, but we are working together to do we're trying to find some solutions for the bikers, the kids that are riding in those dirt bikes and stuff throughout the street. We're trying to create a solution for that, because it's like a lot of it's a nuisance to some people, but we also got to give some of our young people something to do and a space to do it, so that way they're not getting chased down by police officers because they're riding in the middle of the street. So those are one of the things we're working on. Also, we're trying to think of a solution for our animal shelter, cleaning up our streets. There's been a lot of initiatives going forward with that. I've been this first couple of months, I've been trying to learn the process and make sure that I learn how things go, how things work. So that way, when things are coming forth, then we make sure that I'm doing it correctly.
Okay, now you work a lot with the mayor, right?
Yes.
Okay, what initiatives has he put on the table that that will move the city forward?
Mm-hmm. So I know that we are all, and when I say we, I mean like the administration, the mayor, some of our directors, and us as council. The one thing we wanted to do was try to reduce some of the violence that was going on in the city. That was one of the reasons why they partnered with the police department, partnered with some of the other agencies outside of Trenton, so that we can help stop some of the things that were going on. As we've seen, we had a spike in violence from April to May. And partnering, we're just trying to bring in more resources for us here, so that way we can have the manpower and then actually try to help bring safer streets. We're also really concerned about the water, so we've been trying to make sure that we're making sure funds are going to the proper place, so that way we can make sure our water is clean and self-sufficient. We're actually working on putting tanks and making sure that we can preserve our water and preserve a lot of water in a nice, healthy fashion, so we don't have to worry about some of the things that we worried about in the past. And then also just cleaning up our streets. Also, we have a lot of littering issues, the illegal dumping. We've been cracking down on that, where some of the ordinances have been changed and fines have been raised. And we're trying to make sure that we're enforcing those things, enforcing those penalties, so people will stop leaving their trash out here or coming in from across the bridge to dump their trash here in the city of Trenton. So, some of those are the main things that we're working on. The safety was the main thing, to get a grip on that, so that way we can start to revitalize our city. As you know, we have been trying to knock down as many of our abandoned houses as possible, so that way we can rebuild them up and make sure that we have quality housing for everyone here in the city, no matter where they are, if it's an apartment, if it's a house. We are trying to make sure that we get rid of the blight in the city, and that's one of our main focuses. That's one of the mayor's main focus, and so is council. So we're kind of on the same page with that.
Okay, now talking about the waterworks, you trying to put a cover over that?
So the plan is to get a tank, where I think they don't want to even, and when I say this, it's going to be years later. Like, now, it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's almost, I want to say it was like an 8 to 10 year process, but where the water tanks will replace the reservoir. Yes, because the reservoir is open. So there's a lot of things that can come in. It takes a lot of more chemicals to make sure that our water is clean. And when I asked the water director, the interim water director, he basically we talked about covering it, and then he was saying that it would be way too costly and it just jeopardizes the structure of the reservoir if we were trying to cover it. So we're going to move towards the tanks, which will be a little bit more safer and healthier for us to have and not worry about a lot of other things coming into the water. But that's it's going to be a long time. I want to say it was about an 8 to 10 year process. That's not going to be something that we see right away.
Okay, but has the time clock started on that or what?
Yeah, it has. I don't know if you rode past on Prospect where they actually knocked down where the old Comcast was. So we're going to start the process there, and I believe that's where the first tank is going to be. So the demolition has started, the engineering and the surveys have also begun to start to transition that reservoir into water tanks. Where I think it holds like 80 million. I had notes too on that because I think it holds like 80 million gallons of water, and it would be less of a hassle to, it would be less chemicals that we would need as opposed to what we're using now for where the reservoir is now.
That was going to be my next question about that. That was the old laundry building was on that corner, right next to right. And I was wondering what they were going to be doing with that property. So they're going to be putting up a water tank.
We're looking to do a water tank. Yes.
Okay. How many water tanks are you going to need?
I think he said 5. I'm only saying what I had a conversation with him about it because I was questioning about the reservoir, like what were we doing? And I want to say that eventually we're going to have 3 to 5 of them. And then there's also going to be some out in Ewing, one in Ewing, and I believe one in Lawrence and one in Hamilton. So there'll be a total of, maybe it's a total of 5, and then we'll have 3, and then there's 2 outside. But each one is supposed to hold 70 to 80 million gallons of water. And like I said, it would be less chemicals that are needed to filter through the water so that we can have clean water when we're in our homes.
Yeah, because they used to have, they've had a couple drownings up there in that reservoir.
Right. So, and that's why I was asking him about covering it. He was like, well, if we cover it, 1, is really costly, and 2, it could just create other issues because of the structure of the reservoir. So he's not looking to do that. I think
the state keeps talking about, and the county keeps talking about, and the municipalities, Lawrence, Ewing, Hamilton, they keep talking about wanting the state to take that over. Would you allow that?
To state to take over what? The water?
The water work.
No. I know I wouldn't want that. I don't think most of us on council that is our main asset here in the city of Trenton. So for us to let the state take over, I think that would be a mistake on our part. That's not something that I would want to see. And I was looking at it. We are in the engineering phase of it, and we'll have 2 tanks coming here within the next 6 to 8 years. I was just looking at my notes that I had took the other day. But no, I would not want the state to come and take over. That's our largest revenue that we have here in the city of Trenton. So to let that go or to let someone else take over, we already have DCA in the state over us right now. So I would really hope that we wouldn't get to that point.
Okay. Now, has it ever come to council about senior citizen housing? Because we haven't had, well, I guess we had a couple, but the senior citizen housing that we have is getting to be pretty old, that the city runs. Has that ever come to council about refurbishing these buildings or building new ones? Or
it hasn't come to council as of refurbishing or remodeling as of yet. I do know, I am aware of Trenton Housing Authority remodeling a lot of the kitchens and bathrooms in a lot of our housing and a lot of the houses that we have here in the city of Trenton. But as far as specifically for the senior buildings, that hasn't come forward to us. That's not something I would be opposed to, because I believe that our seniors they probably deserve the best housing. The only ones that we kind of went back and forth with was Kingsbury that came before us. And that's not specifically for seniors, but there are a lot of seniors in that building. And I think we are all in agreement that needs to just be a whole brand new building. Like, we need to knock that down, figure out a way to, plan it out correctly so that way we can get those buildings down and rebuild them up so that we can have quality housing for seniors and for everyone else here in the city.
Now, the city doesn't own them, do they?
Not Kingsbury, no.
No, no. Okay.
Kingsbury
So,
belongs to Patterson Housing Authority.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, the last time I was in Kingsbury, which was a while ago, the apartments were beautiful. Well, the
Oh wow.
layout of the apartments were beautiful.
Yeah,
Now,
and they're a
I,
nice size. I think they have a
yeah,
nice size.
they are.
Yeah, nice size, but they are. We need to do better in that building. We need to.
Mismanaged.
It's been mismanaged. As far as their funding, their financial situation, it definitely has been mismanaged in the past. I do know that they have a new board that just recently took over in the last year. So they're trying to actually make some things happen to build it back up or to remodel it where we can have it looks decent. But right now, it's unfortunate that this new board of trustees that they have, that they're fighting so hard, but it's so hard to look at what has been done already. Like when we walked and we took a tour recently of it, and it was all 7 council members and the mayor. It's bad. It was bad. You have just mold. You had water in the basement. It's not somewhere I don't think you or I would want to live at, or even have someone that we love live at.
Okay, so I mean, doesn't the city have inspectors and requirements that
Mhm.
need to be followed for that?
So that was questions that came up with us. Like, what are the inspections? You have the state that inspects it. You have the housing department that inspects it, which is Patterson Housing Authority that inspects it, and then the city also inspects it. There has definitely been some. There's a disconnect somewhere, or that has been, I should say, in the past, where I don't know how we fell by the wayside, but it shouldn't have gotten this far to where they are now. It's bad in there.
So what are y'all doing about that?
So we're right now in the planning phases of it. What we're trying to figure out what's the best solution. We're trying to actually have the county and the state come be a part of the solution, because technically it's not a Trenton building, and here we are taking the brunt of it. And it's like we need to literally bring in all the outside agencies and partner with them. And they've all been invited. They've been invited to join us. When we took the tour, Jossie took the lead on that. Councilwoman Edwards, excuse me, took the lead on inviting a lot of the outsiders, the state, all the stakeholders that have something to do with Kingsbury, and none of them showed up. We were the only ones that were there, along with the new board members. And then even at council meetings when they came forth, we've invited them there, and no one else is showing up to speak on their behalf. And it's unfortunate, but we are doing our best to make sure we hold everybody else accountable that is involved with Kingsbury, because it shouldn't fall all on the city to pay for that building. We need assistance from everyone else that are supposed to be involved to help come up with a solution for Kingsbury, because there's a lot of people there.
Why would the city pay for it? Why wouldn't the owners pay for it? Isn't there a way to hold the owners responsible and accountable for this?
Right. So this is another thing. The owner he recently just became the owner, I want to say in the last 2 years, and then that's when the new board came in. So it seems like there is a new person and new people involved that are trying to bring Kingsbury to where it should be, but we're still tainted with how did it get like this for so long. So now, they did come forward. I think this was like my first council meeting, when they asked for, I think it was 1 point something million dollars. They actually had asked for more, and wanted us to help pay their back bills. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because
who asked for that?
Their board,
the owners of the building.
Yes.
Why would they ask the city to pay for stuff?
They're looking for some assistance. Like I said, this is a new manager, new owner, new board. And so they were upset at what they walked into. And so now they're trying to fix it. But it's hard to say you want to take $1 million from the city to pay for back bills. If you're not paying those bills, then it was asked as a loan. How will we get that money back? So we struggled with that as a new council, and we didn't approve that. So now we're trying to bring, like I said, all the stakeholders together, so that way we can come up with a solution and make other people be held accountable. It shouldn't fall on the city of Trenton. Yes, the building is here, but that shouldn't be our responsibility to bail them out.
I'm not. I don't mean to grill you on this.
No, it's okay.
Isn't that the own? I mean, the owners saw that building before they bought it. They knew what they were getting into. So isn't it on them to do what they have to do? And then wouldn't it be on the city, whether the state or the county come along or not, to take them to whatever agencies and courts they need to take them to? And I don't know what.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Let me tell you, the same questions you have are the same questions we had. We were like, well, why are you coming here? Like, why is it coming to city council? And then we figured, well, I'm going to speak for myself. I was thinking, well, we're a new council. Maybe people, just want to come in because it's like, okay, maybe they'll just say yes. I don't know what the train of thought was for that, but they're looking for assistance from the city. We don't want to leave those people displaced. We don't want to leave those people living in that situation. So let's be clear about that. So as a city, that is our responsibility because those residents are our responsibility.
True.
So we do have to come and work together with the other agencies. If I'm not mistaken, New Jersey Housing Finance Agency is also over it. So they're trying to partner with them and have them fund the majority of the new project for it, which is what we're looking to do. We're hoping if they were to come with us with a letter stating, hey, NJHH, I can't say it, New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency is going to give us $80 million. I'm just putting that number out. It could be 75 million, whatever the number is, to build Kingsbury back up. We would be all for it. But that hasn't come forth to us as of yet. So we're just trying to, like I said, bring everyone who should be accountable into the solution meetings, we should say.
Okay, well, y'all stay on that because it's important. I mean, it seems like poor people always get the stick, and they're the ones who need the most help, and they're the ones who should get the most help.
So, absolutely.
I hope y'all stay on that. And
yeah, you've been grilling too. You've been asking the same questions you've asked me. We've been asking them.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
But I do believe we do need quality senior living homes. And like I said, I do know I'm going back to your original question. I do know the Housing Authority has remodeled a lot of the kitchens and bathrooms throughout. And so hopefully, eventually we can get the funding and get ourselves sustainable where we can maybe build a brand new senior building just for seniors, so that is something that seniors are priority for us.
Okay. We have right now, what do we have? 1.5 or 1.5 abandoned hospitals in this city right now. And, Capital Health just took over St. Francis with the promise of keeping an emergency ward, but that's the same promise they gave us about Mercer Hospital.
Yes.
So, number one, what are we going to do about Mercer Hospital, and what are we going to do about St. Francis Hospital with the abandoned parts of St. Francis Hospital?
Mm-hmm. So I know for Mercer Hospital, I would give all the credit to Ms. Register. I know Ms. Register is working diligently on making sure that we somehow redevelop that area. And so that has, even though the developers have not come forth as far as a plan for that, I know that they have been working really hard with getting the community's input as to what they would like to see at the hospital, at the old hospital, Mercer Hospital. And so I know that she's done several surveys and gotten the community's input on it. And so the next phase of it will be, if I'm not mistaken, to get the RFPs out. And that way we can have some people come in and state what they would like to see and see that redeveloped. It's been a lot of sessions on that. As far as, like, what do we do with the existing homes that are around it to make sure that those people are not displaced or not pushed out, but somehow revitalize that area, because it's Mercer Hospital. It's a huge land. And so maybe even think about that for senior living. So things, she's been really, really doing well and working hard with trying to get the community to say exactly what it is that they want to see there. So I want to give her credit for that. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be seeing some development take place in that area. As far as St. Francis Hospital, so I sat in a meeting last Wednesday with some of the Capitol Health people, and it is frustrating. They do have emergency services. They did see a spike in it in the last month. I want to say she said it was about 20,000 visits in the last month or two, which qualifies for us keeping that emergency services there. They do currently have outpatient services there, and they have a radiology school also currently in operation. What the issue is I guess the previous owner, Trinity and Capitol Health, they're trying to come up with an agreement. It's a lot of back and forth. I was confused a little bit listening to it, but asking questions as far as, we don't want to be sold a dream. Everyone's saying, oh, they're not going to let the hospital go. They want to build it up. They want to do this and they want to do X, Y, and Z, but we're not seeing a lot of movement in that. And then there's a lot of things being said on the owner side, the Trinity side, and then Capitol Health side. So this is a meeting that they have once a month, every first Wednesday, and the Capitol Health are there to give us updates on what's going on. She was looking for a property that would allow us to have a hospital there. Not specifically in that if they couldn't keep it there, that they was looking for different areas in the city where they can possibly have it. Obviously, we know we don't have a lot of open land where we can have a hospital. So the goal is to keep it there and eventually just redevelop it as far as keeping it as a hospital is what I was told on Wednesday. But like I said, there's a lot of back and forth, but that is something that we are trying to stay on top of and make sure that the owner and Capitol Health be transparent with us, because there's a lot of stuff that's being said on one side and a lot of on the other side, and it's not making a lot of sense.
Yeah, what options does the city have? I mean, what can the city do about any of this, really?
Well, one is it's technically not the land of this. Well, it is the city's land, but I'm saying it's not owned by the city. But hopefully we will all be on the same page to fight for it, because we can't afford to lose another medical facility here in the city of Trenton. We just can't. Some of the options that we were talking about was possibly maybe utilizing some of that space for the maternal health clinic. That was something that I know that they're trying to work on, bringing maternal health health services here to the city of Trenton, possibly using it for nursing school and partnering. I would like to see them partner with the schools around us. We got Trenton State, College of New Jersey. You have Princeton University. You have all of these schools here in the city that are in the surrounding area that we can utilize that for nursing programs for our young people, and just make sure that we just need the medical resources here. We can't afford for it to leave. And that's why they have promised to stay here and make sure that we have those emergency services not leave the city of Trenton. And so far they haven't gone. And like I asked her about the numbers, and there was, she said it was about 20,000 visits in the last month, which is a good number to make sure we keep the hospital going. I think they were worried that they weren't going to see a lot of numbers, but it has been a spike in emergency services there.
The thing that I look at is that, they're utilizing some of the building, and the rest of it is just sitting there. I mean, like the garage has been closed for, I don't know, a couple of years now. Now a lot of the rest of it's closed, and that's just going to deteriorate as time goes on. But anyway, let me go downtown a little bit. Okay. They got some action going on downtown in the Bell Telephone Building and where Broad Street Bank used to be. What's happening over there?
So the Broad Street Bank. So I know that what's the organization? They took it and they're having more like an event space as of right now there. We would like to see a lot more going on. As far as the Bell Building, I'm not sure exactly. I know that I forgot the owner. He just purchased it, and I know that they cleared it out to build, and I believe they're going to build apartments or condos there. So it seems like it's going to be more residential. We're hoping to build downtown up. We want downtown to start thriving, but there's some things that we got to change, like when you have ordinances that don't allow for an establishment to be able to serve alcohol. We want to be able to create something where we're at Little New Brunswick or Jersey City or like Baltimore, where you have a restaurant playing jazz music here, and then if you could walk down the street and we can hear R&B over here, or we want to have that going here in the city of Trenton, and we have the potential to do so. But there's some things that we have to change, and we're limited also with the alcohol licenses also. So hopefully we'll see that soon too. We just got to make some minor adjustments and changes and see what's out there as far as obtaining those licenses. Because let's be for real, like that's what people want to do. They want to go out and be able to have a glass of wine and eat dinner,
Right.
or listen to some live music. So hopefully when we look into how many licenses we can have here in the city of Trenton, there's not a lot that we can have. That are currently, because I think we're kind of maxed out with those licenses, but we do have some people that we have some licenses that are stagnant. So just change some of these ordinances so that we can have them within closer proximity of one another. But yeah, hopefully downtown you'll see it thriving. It's hard to talk about the things that, like, we want to see all of these things happen, right? But there's a lot of stuff that we have to clean up. There's a lot of stuff is a lot of back stuff that's going on. So it's going to take us a little minute before we start to see some robust things going on, bringing the arts back downtown. We want it to be thriving. Trust. I believe this council definitely wants to see a city that's booming, and I trust that we'll make that happen. But we just got a little work to do.
Is there any hope of bringing in a large employer, economic?
So yeah, hopefully we can. I know that with the previous council, that Printel that was coming here that wanted to bring all those jobs was shut down, and that would have brought in a lot of job opportunities and money into the city. We're hoping that will come back. A lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth with Trenton, from a couple. And I'm not just putting the blame on the last 4 years, but even prior to that. Yeah, it didn't just start. We can't just keep blaming the last 4 years.
Right.
It's been something that's been going on for some time now. This didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to change overnight. So I just think that hopefully when they see us working together, us being open to businesses being here in the city of Trenton, that more people will want to come, and it attract them to come build our city and give job opportunities for our people. Because that's really what we need. We need our economic development. We just need the economics to just build up for our people. Our youth we need jobs. We need money. People it's hard right now. So if we can create those opportunities for everyone, I think we'll have a better chance at getting our city where it needs to be.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. Have any projects come up before council? I know y'all haven't been there long.
Mm-hmm.
But have any economic projects come before council?
Right now we've looked at they want to redo all of the housing on Brunswick. That was like a big project that came before us, and I know that we approved for that to happen. So if I'm not mistaken, that's going to start within January, after the end of the school. I was going to say school year. At the end of this year, that we should see some. All of that's going to be redone over for those individuals who live on Brunswick Avenue, behind in front of Helen Fool. And so that we have Roveland Block 2 that we're hoping we'll have somebody come there. The RFP is out for that, and hopefully you'll see that. We'll select someone soon for that, because we've been having different proposals come in to remodel that. And that's looking to be a mixed use area where we could have some residential, also have some businesses, a theater. We're looking at bringing the arts also into the community, not having them have to go out. That way we can attract more people here. So you'll see that probably coming soon, hopefully, if we can, get to thoroughly vet some of these proposals coming through, and actually have the public come and question and ask questions to whoever, we decide to pick the top 3 people or top 3 companies. Then hopefully most of the people will come to our council meetings to ask those questions, and they can also vet the people that we're looking at also. But I think that's like right now, and also what I mentioned earlier is Rutherford, where Mercer Hospital was, that is up for us wanting to redevelop that area also.
Okay. Now, the city got what, $35 million
From
from
the state.
Biden that they
From
have sitting
the
around.
state. You talking about the state aid?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about that when Biden did that big $1 trillion levy when he came in, he gave out all this money to the cities. You know?
I need to look into how much we actually got from that, because that was prior to us. But I'm about to write that down, so I'll make sure I find that information
Yeah.
out.
I mean, it was,
But
I don't
I
know
know
whether it was like 30 some or 70 some million dollars.
with the you talking about with our ARP money, AARP, that is a lot of funding that is being used for different projects throughout. We use some of that money for Prospect Street. We use some of that money for a lot of the summer programs for our students, our kids. The soccer leagues. You have also like the lighting in certain areas. So some of that, the same money that I'm talking about, that has been used going towards just improving our city. And I know that this year we're still working on our budget, and not that we're working on it, we have the budget, but we're waiting on DCA to give the final approval, and we can have a budget finally adopted.
Okay, that sounds good. I have to ask this because my daughter always bugs me about this. Um, she wants to see a skating rink in Trenton.
So
Uh,
I do know that they have started. That would be we that would be great to have. I know that on Wednesdays, I don't know if she does know about that, but on Wednesdays they do it at Cowwater Park, and a lot of people have been going there, and I heard it's really nice. But a skating ring would be awesome to have, because we need even just a mixed use place where they can do skating. They could probably skateboard there. They can do a variety of things probably in one location, and that would be amazing to have. Something I would definitely be behind if we can find the right location for it, obviously the right funding for it, and even a company that is willing to bring that in. I'm actually writing my notes down too, just to say this is what people want to see for.
I'm going to tell you something else people would want to see. There's no public pool in the West Ward. How about, has that ever come up?
That has not.
No. Well, that's something that is definitely needed. You know,
Mhm.
every other ward has a city pool.
Mhm.
You know?
I know during my campaign, after speaking to some of the residents throughout West Ward, I know a lot of them were asking if they could use the pool at Junior 3. I mean, the Highland Middle School.
Right.
I'm soon to be Junior 3, but and so we did explore that. I know that is now back in use as a middle school now for just Trenton students, but that was something that we did look into. But you're right, we don't have a public pool in the West Ward, so that is something to consider and see how we can possibly try to make that happen too, or even an area for it. I'm just taking notes because there's a lot of things. Like I said, this is a learning process for me, and I'm trying to make sure that I take everyone's ideas and we try to bring it to fruition, because that is needed. You're right.
Councilwoman at Large, Yazminelly Gonzalez. This has been a
Yeah.
wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much.
I really have appreciated it, and I'm sure our listeners will have appreciated this also. You know.
Thank you so much. I know. And like I said, please be patient with us as a council as we are learning and we are trying to clean up a lot of things that have happened. But our goal is to build a sustainable, safe, clean city for everybody here that will thrive and allow our people to have job opportunities and, just grow as a city.
Okay. Well,
So thank
hopefully
you.
you
Yeah.
will come back
I
and
want to come back. I need to come back on a live session.
okay, and share the progress that's being made as time goes on. You
Absolutely.
know,
Absolutely.
and also to share your frustrations.
True.
You know, and say, hey, look, we this ain't happening. You know?
Right. And people need to understand that too. Like, for me, I always tell everybody, like, just how I'm taking notes as the things that you're sharing with me, it's a partnership and we can't do it by ourselves. We need people to really get involved, to be engaged, and to come. We have our meetings every first and third week of the month. And that's the time that you can come and share your frustration, your concerns, solutions, bring solutions to the table also. But just know that we are trying to work as best as we can. I'm trying to learn as much as possible and learn the process of how everything works, even just with the budget I spoke of. That was the main thing most of us spoke of when we were campaigning. Like, we need a budget. The budget should be done by X, Y, and Z. And then now that I'm on the other side, there's so many things out of our control. We have to wait for the state to give us the money. And until the governor releases us money, then we can't make those decisions. So hopefully you'll see that within the next month that we will adopt a budget also.
Okay, my sister, I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure.
Tell Miss Woman and Michael I said hello to.
Say again?
I said tell Michael and everybody I said hello.
Okay. I was thinking while we were talking, where we were talking that, remember where out at the church on North Clinton Avenue?
Where the laundry.
Yeah, the laundry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just went by there the other day too. Yep.
Okay. Have a great day.
So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to coming back.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
All righty. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Boy, that was just simply marvelous. We found out so much information, and we're gonna try to get the rest of the council and the administration. Now we've had Mr. Wilson on from the director of the police. We've had Councilwoman on. We want to get the mayor. We want to get some of the directors who work at City Hall. We want to get more of the council people. Hey, we want you to know as much about this town as you possibly can. Because like the councilwoman said, they need our input. Okay? And we need to give them our input. So that's been good. I don't know who next week. Sean, do we have somebody lined up for next week? Well, I don't know, but whoever it is, it'll be as good as this one. Man, oh man. And that's right. This one is this will okay. So very good. So we'll see you all again next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Tune in. Appreciate you being with us. We love you. Thank you for the hard work that the staff here is doing with Sean and Al and Michael and all the good people who watch us, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. That's a good thing. So I am Kamau Kujichagulia. I'm going to say good night to you right now. Good night.